Students with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension.
But no, by all means, go ahead, skip the ad, save a few seconds.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
And the winner is Dorfidoodle. We are number one.
Are you a real villain?
Well, technically, nah.
Have you ever caught a good guy, like a real superhero?
Nah.
Have you ever tried a disguise?
Nah.
All right. I can see that I will have to teach you how to be villains. Now listen closely. Here's a little lesson in trickery. This is going down in history. If you wanna be a villain number one, you have to chase a superhero on the run. Just follow my moves and sneak around. Be careful not to make a sound. No, don't touch that. Now look at this net that I just found. When I say go, be ready to throw. Go! Throw it at him, not me! Oh, let's try something else. Now watch and learn. Here's the deal. You slip and slide from this banana peel. What are you doing? We are number one.
Pardon me, Robbie Rotten. I did not recognize dogging. I've never actually. I only recognize it from and like that one time people every time Robbie Rotten says like then like that all right. Apparently I have mouth left. Chest left. Anyway, hi everybody. Me, Charlie, watching oh, it's the Open. Open. Hello? Test. Test. Okay. That seems to be far away from me. I don't know. It looks like, okay, so to me on the sound meter, it looks like it's cutting out like halfway. All right. So, I think this will work. I hope I fixed it. If I did not, um I will adjust it another time when I have the patience, or you guys can walk me through it. But yeah, I've never watched We Are Number One. Anyway, Dorothy said We Are Number One, so that's why I put it on. Also, that looks like that town looks like the town that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is like always filmed in. Like it's got the same art style. Okay, so not much has changed with me between yesterday and today. Um I've been doing a little bit more Fallout 76 off stream. I'm at level 83. I am still continuing my archer build. I have this one perk that I maxed out, and it basically, okay, so off the top of my head, I'm paraphrasing. When you use a bow and arrow, it hits the first target and then bounces off and hits the second target. And then my bow and arrow is called Burning Love. It's like one that you get from doing a quest. And it sets the target on fire for I think like 10 seconds. So every time it connects with a target, it also sets them on fire. So the first level, it bounces off and hits one. Second level, it bounces off and hits two. And then the third level, it hits three, and the damage increases with each hit. And then I also have another perk that's attached, which auto after every shot I take, regardless if the enemy, regardless of what if the enemy falls or not, it automatically lines up a shot with the next target. So that's been pretty fun. I have been very much enjoying that, especially taking that in to like events. It's been great. I've been loving seeing everybody in power armor. Meanwhile, I'm just like pop, 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 pop. Good. Anyway, now we're gonna get to the main topic at hand. Again, I'd like to reiterate that regardless of your political views, I don't think you should. I think it's that easy. I think everybody deserves a chance at redemption. I believe everybody deserves a chance to have their voices and opinions heard. And if you break the law, you should go to jail. Or if you're like a sex trafficking pedophile, like there's like very few exceptions. Like everybody's redeemed. What happened is horrific. I don't agree with anything Charlie Kirk has ever said. Maybe there might be like one thing ever, and it was probably something that I was like, oh yeah, that he's right about the Dems on this one. Probably along those lines. So, needless to say, yesterday Charlie Kirk was assassinated at a speaking event in Utah at a college. He was assassinated after answering a question about school shooting. Which this, since it took place on a college campus, this was indeed. How else do I want to describe it? From 200 meters away, 2 football fields for my Americans, and 188 meters for the Europeans out there, for everybody else out there. Is pretty far. I mentioned this yesterday when Goblin was in chat, and I was like, look, in America, to be trained, like, to like shoot like that 200 meter or 200 yards, you have to be pretty well trained for that. And like here in America now, we don't use guns like we used to, right? Like, sorry, there's like a layer on this that's like peeling off, and I just want to get it the rest of the way off. It's driving me nuts. Um, like so people used to hunt, right? My family used to be hunters. I've skinned animals, I've gutted animals, you know. I've seen animals die. Um, but I'm not trying to compare him to an animal. What I'm trying to say is when you shoot, if you're hitting 200 or if you're 200 meters away, you need to be a pretty good shot, especially if your target is going to be constantly moving. And um, it, I personally think it was some kind of a professional that did it, whether it's ex-military, ex-cop, something to that effect, because I do not believe in my heart of hearts that Americans, especially with the lack of like, there's like no gun clubs, at least not many here in Jersey, and then like the few hunting clubs there are pretty like what's the word I'm looking for? They like they're pretty picky about who they welcome in. So like sometimes it's just better to like not go to them. But that's not my point at all. I'm rambling right now. Sorry. Anyway, the shot was 200 meters away. No, 188 meters away. 2 football fields. And it lodged in his neck. Now, for some reason, I decided to share a lot of this information. And oh, right, Goblin said in Germany it would be no problem, but they also have like shooting clubs there, and then almost everybody is like trained in like with a gun, and like other people have like there's like you have to have 2 different safes, one for your ammo and one for your weapon, and it's like holy, oh my god, don't tell me the guys on this. But we don't have that here in America. That sucks. High key. Um, sorry. Um, oh, gone. Anyway, we're gonna catch up on the latest news. Oh, okay. So one person was arrested yesterday, and he apparently said, "Just shoot me, just shoot me." When he was arrested, or like, "I'll fucking do it again," or something to that effect. And then he was arrested. And similar, we're gonna see a video today of somebody on top of the roof. Remember yesterday we watched a video of like the reflection? I was like, no, it kind of looks like everybody's head's going by. Well, I was proven wrong. Watch that. But basically there is a video of uh a man on the roof getting up and running, and similar to like I said, once he had confirmed the kill, he got up and he bolted. Because he knew he could process or he could get farther on foot by the time people realized what had even happened. So I do think it's someone slightly more professional than like your average like woke, woke, you know, purple haired, whatever. But I do want to reiterate, I don't dress or look this way because I'm woke. Like I've always dressed and looked this way. I've always dyed my hair since 13. I've dyed my hair since 19. I started getting tattoos. And I was 19 in 2000. No. I was going to say 2019. I was 19 in like 2009, 2010. So like I've always dressed and looked this way since before woke was even like an internet term. Um so I am concerned because of my opinions on things, but also because I look like everybody.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to the Vicky and Vance Casino and Museum.
Got. Hi, welcome in. So it's like it's concerning, but I want to get to Philip DeFranco while I keep picking at this. Okay, it doesn't look like it's peeling off the design. All right, watching.
So the hunt for Charlie Kirk's killer is underway, and as of recording, no suspects are in custody. The identity of the shooter remains unknown, but the FBI
Oh,
did just
I got way off topic. Okay. So the first guy got arrested and he was like, shoot me, shoot me. And they took him to jail. And it turns out he had nothing to do with it. And then there was a second guy arrested and he also had nothing to do with it. So they let him go. Meanwhile, they're making all these announcements on X. You know, they're saying these things before other people confirm them. There were reports that like the gun was found and it had like scrawlings on it or like writing on it. FBI director can't keep his foot out of his mouth. Yeah. There's like reports that like um there was writing like pro transgender ideology and anti-fascist stuff was found in the gun. But then other people are like, no, that isn't what happened. And there's just like a lot of misinformation right now. So I just want to remind everybody, like, take the time to hear the information you're getting and think about it before you react. Like, not everything needs a reaction right away. You know, immediately I condemn what happened 100%. But I do want to sit here and wait for all of the information before I jump to a conclusion and blame an entire group of people. I think that's a very fair statement.
just release the first photos to the public. Before we get into
No. Wrong button.
So the hunt for Charlie Kirk's killer is underway, and as of recording, no suspects are in custody. The identity of the shooter remains unknown, but the FBI did just release the first photos to the public. Before we get into all that, I want to start at the beginning, right? What happened yesterday while Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University. It was meant to be the first of 15 stops on his American Comeback Tour, which his organization, Turning Point USA, described as being aimed at
Oh, I got a text about this earlier today. It was uh a lot of the roads were shut down. New Jersey University lifts shelter in place after campus shooting. Police apprehend suspect. Update: a suspect in the shooting was found in a nearby housing development and taken into custody. The Galloway Township Police Department said in a statement shortly after 5 p.m. The identity of the person and specific charge have not been released. Students at Stockton University were ordered to shelter in place about 3 hours while police investigating a shooting at the Galloway Township campus that injured at least 4 administrators. One person was shot near West Jimmy Leeds Road and Redwood Avenue around 12:52 p.m. Thursday, Galloway police said. Meanwhile, the university said authorities were searching for 2 suspects who fled the scene in a white Honda SUV. University lifted the shelter in place around 4 p.m. Decision to issue the directive was made out of an abundance of caution following the notification from the Stockton University Police Department of the reported shooting incident surrounding department of a reported shooting incident in the surrounding off-campus area. Stockton University President Joe Bertolino in a statement, while the incident did not occur on campus, the safety of our faculty and staff is always our highest priority. Isn't faculty staff or just faculty and everybody? Like, never mind. One of the suspects was described as a white man in a green shirt with long blonde hair. The university said the car was believed to have been driven through campus. The area where the shooting happened, Revere King Ferris Drive, winding road that leads to Stockton's main campus. The university issued a shelter in place at 1:19, according to an alert from campus officials. Students and staff were urged to stay indoors and not exit until the order was lifted. Elisa Foreman, a junior hospitality major, was walking through the campus library when a mass text alert appeared on students. Students around here began quickly walking towards the safe areas. She stayed with a friend at their on-campus apartment, mindful to stay clear of the windows. The situation is particularly worrisome in recent of violence this week in the U.S. Definitely scary. It's so close to home, Foreman said. I feel like every day it gets closer and closer to home. Galloway Township Police were expected to release more information on the investigation. Meanwhile, the university canceled afternoon classes. We'll keep an eye on that. I do want to know like what went up with what was going on with that. Also, hi Tim.
Giving students the tools to push back against left-wing indoctrination in academia and reclaim their right to free speech. And then with that, you saw the event taking the format that he's probably best known for, which is the Prove Me Wrong segment, in which he invites
Oh, it
attendees
just
to
hurt my
ask him
hip.
questions, debate him, and otherwise try and prove him wrong. Right? In the clips from those interactions, they rack up millions and millions of views each on social media. Then instead, what we saw yesterday is that roughly 20 minutes into the event, someone asked, "Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?" Kirk answers, "Too many." And the same audience member goes on to say that the number is 5, and then that person asking Kirk how many mass shooters there have been in general in America over the past 10 years, with Kirk asking, counting or not counting gang violence. And then he got shot in the neck. As we talked about yesterday, it was horrific. If you have not seen it, I do not recommend you go look at it. His head snapped back. There's blood pouring out. There was panic, screaming, shouting. Some people took cover. Some people ran. And then within a couple of hours, it was confirmed that Kirk had been killed.
In a non-disrespectful way, I want to say it was really bad. I have watched all of the angles multiple times now. Close ups, far aways, all of it. I'm pretty confident in a lot of the things I believe with it. But it's rough. If you don't want to see it, or if you think, oh, maybe I should check this out because like I need to know for myself, you don't need to know.
Utah Valley University told students on campus to take shelter inside until they could be escorted out by police. Right, and actually with that, it's now being said that they've closed their campus and canceled classes for at least the rest of the week. Then what we saw is that by the end of the day, 2 people had been taken into custody, but both ended up being released without being charged in relation to the shooting. Though notably, you had FBI Director Kash Patel prematurely writing on X that the subject of the horrific shooting that took the life of Charlie Kirk was in custody. Right, and with that, you had places like the New York Times noting that that was unusual that the FBI director would personally take the lead in releasing information about the shooting, and even more unusual that he chose to share the information minutes before state and local officials were scheduled to provide a press briefing. And then actually with that, you had Patel having to walk back his earlier claim and announce that the subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement, and adding, "Our investigation continues and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency." Also, I'll say that around that time, the idea that the shooter was in custody had already been accepted by many. And in fact, there was a video of a man briefly detained after the shooting that led to false claims that a Canadian man bearing his resemblance was the shooter. And that rumor reportedly originated from an account on X called Fox 11 Reno, though that doesn't actually have any relation to the real Fox News. And so instead, it looked like it was an account that aimed to capitalize on the lack of information around the shooter and try to get traffic to the website and generate some ad revenue. But then I'll say, with so much wrong information out there and just unknown about what's happening, we got to talk about exactly what we do and do not know. Starting with what we do know is that authorities believe that the shooter fired from a rooftop. And with that, you have videos recorded before and after the shooting showing a person on the roof of a building more than 100 yards from where Kirk was standing. In one video, you have someone saying they saw someone run across the roof and lie down. And then in a second video, the person can be seen rushing away from that spot immediately after the shooting. And then with that, you had the FBI saying in a press briefing this morning that they'd been able to track the movements of the suspected shooter all the way from him arriving on campus, going up a stairwell and getting onto the roof, to jumping off the roof and fleeing into a neighborhood after he took the shot. You also had the agency releasing a photo of the suspect and asking for the public's help in identifying the person, and in fact, offering a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to the suspect's arrest. Also, you had them saying that they found a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area near the scene, and with that, you had the Wall Street Journal reporting that investigators found ammunition.
I don't want to click on these links, FBI. I'm not trying to like do anything other than remember what these guns look like. Ooh, a wind. I'm not clicking any more links. I just wanted to mentally picture what I'm looking at.
engraved with expressions of transgender and anti-fascist ideology inside that rifle. And actually, a senior law enforcement official with direct knowledge of the investigation reportedly told the New York Times that this had not been verified by ATF analysts, did not match other summaries of the evidence, and might turn out to have been misread or misinterpreted. Though with that, I will say, at least as of recording, that detail has not been publicly confirmed by authorities yet. And so then with all that, as of recording, officials have not released an official motive regarding the shooting. But then with all that said, let's move on to the response, reactions, and sort of the fallout that we've been seeing since. And we'll start with President Trump, who first wrote on Truth Social, "No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us." And then with that, you had Trump announcing that American flags would be flown at half-staff and adding that he'd be awarding Kirk a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom award. You also had other Republicans and members of the administration coming out and singing Kirk's praises, including RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Mike Johnson, and J.D. Vance, who actually went to Utah today to pay respect to Kirk's family. But then also outside of the responses expressing condolences or praising Kirk, you had people blaming the left for what happened, with, for example, Elon Musk maybe being the most prominent voice there, writing, "The left is the party of murder." And you had Musk also responding exactly to a post that said, "The left-wing mainstream media, as well as figures like Gavin Newsom claiming Trump plans to be dictator, has created a climate of hysteria against right-wing figures that could radicalize any number of unstable people to engage in political violence." Right? And then adding to that, you had the likes of right-wing influencer Laura Loomer, who has been known to have influence over Trump, not only blaming the left, but calling on Trump to crack down on them. Writing, "It's time for the Trump administration to shut down, defund, and prosecute every single leftist organization. More people will be murdered if the left isn't crushed with the power of the state. It's time for the full power of the executive branch to come crashing down on the heads of news companies."
I'm just processing what these implications.
And media personalities who incite political violence in our country. And a very big thing with that is you had many saying that's sort of the tone that we saw Trump taking in his remarks on Kirk's death last night.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the...
Yeah, something's up with like the color grading and stuff. It's not even like this bright when like you see the press center. Like something feels
the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives.
What I will say with that is that Trump is absolutely right in saying that political violence is a huge and growing problem in this country, though it is very clearly not a one-sided one. Last year, according to Capitol Police, there were 9,500 threats and concerning statements made against Congress members, their families, and their staff, up from 8,000 the year prior and up from less than 4,000 in 2017. And then as far as judges and prosecutors, you have the U.S. Marshal Service saying that threats against them reportedly doubled from 2021 to 2023. And then, of course, besides the threats, there's tons of stories that could have been mentioned, right? In addition to incidents mentioned by Trump, like his own assassination attempt.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.
I'm Lou.
The Democratic governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, was the subject of a kidnapping plot. You then had the January 6th attack on the Capitol in 2021, with Trump pardoning everyone, whether they were violent or not. In 2022, Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in their San Francisco home by a...
Lou, do you want to know how old I am? Lou. Lou, do you want to know how old I am? I'm old enough. Ancient Greece? No, I'm at least old enough to remember seeing the second plane hit the tower.
Man wielding a hammer. In D.C., you've had armed men arrested and accused of heading toward the homes of Justice Brett Kavanaugh and former...
Also, it would have been really cool to grow up in ancient Greece. All right.
President Barack Obama with the intent to kill them. And I mean, this year we had things like a guy who ran for the New Mexico legislature as a Republican being convicted for planning a politically motivated shooting spree against 4 Democratic officials. You had a guy shooting up the CDC after allegedly falling prey to misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. And you had a guy with a list of dozens of other potential Democratic targets killing Minnesota's House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, while also wounding State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. You might remember after that, you had people like Republican Senator Mike Lee writing a mock
Yeah, I would save any jokes for anywhere from 15 to 20 years, potentially sooner, depending on other things. But the standard time is 20 years.
post on X saying "Nightmare on Wall Street," or with him also pushing conspiracy theories, trying to blame that act of political violence on Marxists. And while the reactions online from everyday people, there's been a range of them in those situations, and with this Kirk one, in response to Kirk's death, we've seen universal condemnation from the country's most prominent Democrats, including Obama, Biden, Harris, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Zoran Mamdani, and the list goes on. Right, all more or less saying political violence has no place in America and must be rejected in all forms. Now, again, with that, to be very clear, it is not that no one is saying horrible stuff about Kirk's death. There are people that are out there celebrating, saying that he got what was coming to him, people pointing to his stance on gun control. Also with that, people posting this clip in particular that's been making the rounds.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Right, and in general, we've seen a lot of people yelling at each other. Right, in fact,
Thank you. I'm sorry you guys have just been sitting here watching me bite my nails. Here, I'll rewind it.
husband Mark, while also wounding State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. You might remember after that, you had people like Republican Senator Mike Lee writing a mocking post on X saying "Nightmare on Wall Street," or with him also pushing conspiracy theories, trying to blame that act of political violence on Marxists. And while the reactions online from everyday people, there's been a range of them in those situations, and with this Kirk one, in response to Kirk's death, we've seen universal condemnation from the country's most prominent Democrats, including Obama, Biden, Harris, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Zoran Mamdani, and the list goes on. Right, all more or less saying political violence has no place in America and must be rejected in all forms. Now, again, with that, to be very clear, it is not that no one is saying horrible stuff about Kirk's death. There are people that are out there celebrating, saying that he got what was coming to him, people pointing to his stance on gun control. Also with that, people posting this clip in particular that's been making the rounds.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Right, and in general, we've seen a lot of people yelling at each other. Right, in fact, we saw a shouting match break out in Congress yesterday with Mike Johnson pausing the House in the middle of a series of votes to call for a moment of silence and prayer for Kirk. And for around 30 seconds, people from both parties, they respected the moment of silence. But when Johnson tried to get things going again, Lauren Boebert started calling for him to have someone lead a spoke.
Also, DC canceled the recent Robin Hood comic because the artist who was trans made comments about celebrating the murder of Kirk because he was severely anti-trans, so she also praised Bin Laden on 9/11. Wow. I don't even know how to process that information. Not Green Arrow, Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood. All right. I don't always like when people post like it's been a wild couple of days. Oh, Red Hood. Sorry. It's been a wild couple of days, Blue, and I just like I both don't want to tell people how to be when somebody threatens your entire existence and says that you don't be stoned to death. But like I also like I don't think people should say in certain things. You know, like I think there's like a limit, you know? Like express your frustration. Maybe you don't have to post every thought as soon as you have it online. Like my first thought when I saw that happen was, oh my God, this is horrific. I don't want to see this ever happen again. I'm condemning this. And, you know, other people need their time to process. But I do think that certain things shouldn't be said. Like, I think people can take it too far. And I do think we are seeing that on Twitter, and I do think a lot of it is being fed up by the algorithm. And like now it's just driving everybody to get angrier and angrier. Especially when you work for a big company like DC, actions have consequences. Yeah, they do. I agree with that. Like, I think for me, even though I didn't like Charlie Kirk, I still understand that he was part of like the vital system of like US politics. You know? Like I still reckon he's a YouTuber. He's a content creator. You know? He was a content creator. He was a YouTuber. That's how he got his start. And so to see one freedom of speech, not freedom of consequence, and people always forget that. Yes, exactly. They're always like, except now, like some people can't even have free speech. Like Charlie Kirk can't have his free speech anymore. But then people also want to silence like people making dark humor jokes about like certain things. Like I don't know. I don't know how to put this into proper words, and I wish I could better. But like everyone should be held accountable to law. And if you say something insulting, you're going to get in trouble. People are allowed to find your comments insulting, and you don't have to work for, like, they don't have to keep you on the job if this is how you're going to behave, because this is the energy you're going to bring to work, and they don't need that in the environment. So, like, I get that. I do feel sometimes that, like, the Charlie Kirk, uh, meme posting, like I said, they're well within the right to do what they want. It's their freedom of speech to say those things. It's my freedom of choice to walk away or react. That makes sense. Like, they are free to do those things. They are free to burn the flag. They are free to say whatever nasty comments they want to say. It's their God given inalienable right. Oh, I bought a $50 game for $30 earlier. Nice. I don't know. I feel so like conflicted, but I just like it's not even like conflicted. Like I feel like I shouldn't have these kind of like almost middle of the ground. Like I feel like I'm fence sitting right now, but I don't feel like this is an issue that is black or white. I feel like this is a very gray issue. Which game, Blue? Boomer Simulator, because you want to be older like us. Oh my god, I heard Water Park Simulator is really fun.
Spoken prayer for Kirk, who at the time was reported to be in critical condition. With Boebert saying, I believe silent prayers get silent results, and then you had several Democrats
Mario 3D World.
pointing out that there was also a school shooting earlier in the day, which we'll also talk about soon, and saying that there was no prayer for those kids. But then you had Anna Paulina Luna, a Florida Republican who was close to Kirk, starting to angrily yell back, saying to Democrats, you all caused this. And then as other Republicans began yelling at Democrats, you had at least one Democrat responding, pass some gun laws. But then many noting that Utah, where Kirk was killed, it has some of the most relaxed gun laws in the country, allowing the purchase and possession of firearms in most cases without a permit or a license. And then also with that, you had people pointing to, in May, Utah lawmakers actually updating state law to allow the open carry of weapons with a permit on college campuses. Though with that, I want to say we do not know if stricter gun laws there at this time would have actually helped in this specific case. But ultimately, that is where we are right now, and we're going to see how this plays out, what more information we get, what happens.
With the accuracy of the shot that was taken, I don't believe. I'm just hearing noises. I don't believe that stricter gun laws may have helped with that. Just because it looks very professional.
With this manhunt. And so for now, I'll end this with essentially what I said yesterday and a little bit today. I think this is horrific, disgusting, wrong, no matter our differences of opinion and politics. I denounce political violence, and I'm sending my thoughts, my well wishes, and my prayers to Charlie's family and loved ones. And also, as far as the situation as a whole, I hope and pray that there can be a cooling down, a dialogue. But I also fear that what has happened is going to be used to unleash horror. But for now, we'll have to wait and see. But then also, I mentioned that we would talk about the other news of the day, and that includes that as the news about Charlie Kirk was playing out, we saw headlines about a school shooting in the suburbs of Denver. In there, the suspect's a male student who reportedly opened fire and injured 2 other students before taking his own life at Evergreen High School. You had both victims initially considered in critical condition, though one was eventually in stable condition by the early evening. You also had some local outlets saying that another student was injured, though that wasn't from gunshot wounds. Instead, that was from trying to escape the school. And as far as what we know happened, you had officers receiving a call of an active shooter at around 12:30, and they arrived at the school in 2 minutes. And then encountering the shooter within 5, though they reportedly didn't use their weapons. And reportedly, there were hundreds of witnesses to what happened, and right now we don't know if the victims shot were specifically targeted. And it's also unclear where the shooting started, but you have investigators saying that shots were fired both in and outside of the building. And right now, there's still an ongoing investigation into this person and their locker, car, home, and social media. It's all going to be looked at to identify a motive. Today, you also had the authorities identifying the 16-year-old suspect and saying that he was radicalized by an extremist network, though they didn't elaborate any further on that. The whole thing obviously terrifying students in the community, with also the New York Times speaking to one mother who received a text from her teen daughter saying, "Someone just shot up the school, Mom. I'm so scared, Mom." With that mom then saying that she just vomited from how crazy it was. You also had reports of things saying that students who heard the shots, they were running in every direction away from the school, and you had things like 18 of them reportedly making to a nearby house and pounding on the door, asking for help, with that person that lived there telling local news, they're a retired educator, his wife's a retired nurse, and they took them in. In all of this, given everything that we're seeing, it has people underscoring the issue of school shootings. According to reports, there have been 47 so far this year, which have killed 19 people and injured 77 others. There was one in Minnesota just 2 weeks ago, and Evergreen High School, the site of yesterday's shooting, it's actually in the same district as the Columbine High School. So with
and not for nothing, Charlie Kirk's assassination happened on a school campus, so that also qualifies as a shooting.
that, you also had Tracy Dorland, the superintendent of the district, issuing a statement saying, "We cannot pretend this is just another tragic incident. The pain of this incident reopens old wounds. I know there are many in our Jeffco community hurting and grieving tonight, in Evergreen and beyond. The urgency this moment demands is undeniable." And adding, "We all know expressions of support, condolences, and gratitude are not enough. The nation is tired of statements filled with platitudes and thoughts and prayers. What we need is courage. What we need is the collective will of our entire community. Violence involving our young people should never be normalized, and we must face the difficult truth that too often it is." And that is, you had the governor of Colorado writing, "No family should ever fear for their child's life as they send them to school." And ultimately, for now, that's where we are on this obviously bleak story. But then next up in the news from that, we have to talk about Trump's FBI, because these allegations in this new lawsuit are very interesting. Because this lawsuit, it comes from 3 fired senior officials who are taking FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the entire federal government to court. And this over what they called a campaign of retribution for their perceived failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty to the president. And this is a
Matt, what do I want for dinner?
big deal, not only because it's the first lawsuit from former FBI agents challenging their firings, but also because it looks like it paints a certain picture of Kash Patel and his deputy director, Dan Bongino. Right? Because you have places like the New York Times saying it describes these right-wing influencers with far less experience than any of their predecessors as almost cartoonish figures more interested in social media or handing out oversized challenge coins and in running the day-to-day operations of the nation's flagship law enforcement agency. And as far as those alleged challenge coins, apparently Patel had these large tokens minted with his own name printed on them with the S.
Okay, I just got an email from the school, and it's talking about like celebrating 9/11, or like, well, it honors 9/11. I shouldn't say celebrating, wrong words. But apparently, they're asking middle schoolers, so like 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, what 9/11 means to them. And I'm like, all of these kids were born after 9/11. None of them had to sit through any of this. I don't understand. Why would you ask? I don't know. I just feel like I don't think they would have gone up to high schoolers or middle schoolers in the 1960s to ask them of their opinions about Pearl Harbor and what it meant to them. You know? I think it's a little weird.
in cash being a dollar sign. And according to the lawsuit, when one of the plaintiffs received this coin, he also noticed a collection of whiskey bottles and cigars on the director's desk. So with that said, let's get into the more serious accusations. Starting with the first and most senior plaintiff, Brian Driscoll, a widely respected professional who worked at the agency for 2 decades and eventually became Trump's acting FBI director before Patel got confirmed. Though about that, he was actually supposed to be deputy director, with the director role going to another senior agent, Robert Kissane. But then the White House issued a public statement announcing the promotions, and it listed Kissane as deputy director and Driscoll as director, reportedly because of a clerical error. But then, apparently, instead of fixing the mistake, the White House just rolled with it, giving one of the most powerful posts in federal law enforcement to the wrong guy. Now, I will say that's something that we already knew, but what we just learned from this lawsuit is how Driscoll supposedly got selected for the role. Right, with the lawsuit saying in January he got a call from Patel informing him that he'd soon be vetted by Trump's presidential transition team. And when he asked what that would entail, Patel allegedly responded that as long as he was not prolific on social media, did not donate to the Democratic Party, and did not vote for Kamala Harris, he'd be fine. Right, and then when the call came, he says that the man on the other end was Paul Ingracia, a then 29-year-old political appointee with 0 prior experience in the White House, DOJ, or FBI. But then, seemingly more concerning, the questions allegedly included: who did you vote for? When did you start supporting President Trump? Have you voted for a Democrat in the last 5 elections? Do you agree that the FBI agents who stormed Mar-a-Lago should be held accountable? What are your thoughts on diversity, equity, and inclusion? Then Driscoll...
Oh, what? Oh my God. Your therapist can't even ask you those things. What the fuck?
saying that he refused to answer most of those questions, reportedly informing Ingracia, whom he would later be told did not understand how the government worked, that talking politics on the job would violate the Hatch Act. But then, despite having been told he failed the interview, Driscoll says then acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais vouched for his character and he got him appointed anyway. Though, almost as soon as he entered his new office, Driscoll's character was apparently put to the test. Or with the lawsuit alleging that Beauvais demanded the names of every FBI agent or employee across the country who was involved in the January 6th prosecution, to which Driscoll says he informed him that the list would include thousands of people, and to emphasize the magnitude and breadth of the request, noted that he himself would be among them. But then, saying that he was under relentless pressure, Driscoll eventually handed over nearly 6,000 employee ID numbers, hiding their names to protect them from harassment should the list leak. Right, and then when Elon Musk's infamous fork in the road email went out to government employees, Driscoll reportedly told Beauvais that it was causing panic and anxiety in the FBI and thereby putting its missions and national security at risk. But according to him, Beauvais replied that the creation of panic and anxiety, that was the point. Then next, you had Patel being confirmed as the permanent director, and Driscoll got another senior role in the FBI, but he still got into hot water with the administration, or with officials allegedly pressuring him to fire a pilot who flew the FBI's private plane because he was involved in the raid of Mar-a-Lago, among others. And then allegedly when Driscoll pushed back, Patel said they, meaning the White House, had directed him to fire anyone who they identified as having worked on a criminal investigation against President Donald J. Trump. With the lawsuit then continuing, when Driscoll explained that firing people based on case assignments would be in direct violation of internal FBI processes, Patel said that he understood that and he knew the nature of the summary firings were likely illegal and that he could be sued and later deposed. But he then allegedly added he had to fire people his superiors told him to fire because his ability to keep his own job depended on it. With him explaining that, quote, there was nothing he or Driscoll could do to stop these or any other firings because, and here the suit quotes Patel, the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it. And not long after, you had Driscoll fired for good, right? But then the next plaintiff is Stephen Jensen, who is the head of the FBI's Washington field office. Well, he tells a story about Dan Bongino that is bizarre. Or with Jensen saying that it started when the deputy director called him into his office, at which point Jensen recalls Bongino looked as if he had not slept for several days. He seemed extremely anxious and agitated. In saying that when Jensen asked what was wrong, he says Bongino told him that he'd found classified documents from the Russian collusion probe next to burn bags, to which Jensen said he informed him that using burn bags are standard practice for investigations that have been closed or papers that are no longer needed because there are digital copies. Or with Jensen saying that adding to his alarm at Bongino's apparent unseriousness, he worried that the deputy director spent more time creating content for his social media pages than doing actual police work. But then, according to the lawsuit, the last straw came when Bongino asked him to fire an agent that he believed was involved in the Russian collusion probe. Jensen saying he defended the agent, pleading to at least delay any firing because the agent's wife had stage 4 cancer and had just days left to live. And then about a month later, both the agent and Jensen were fired. And finally, you had the last plaintiff, Spencer Evans, the head of the Las Vegas field office. You had him coming under fire from right-wing social media because during the pandemic, he was responsible for approving and denying requests for COVID protocol exemptions. And although he claims that both Bongino and Patel intel liked him at first. He says that they turned on him after social media lit them up for keeping him on board. In his termination letter read, "You demonstrated a lack of reasonableness and overzealousness in the implementation of COVID-19 protocols and policies." So now all three of these men, Driscoll, Jensen, and Evans, they're seeking a jury trial and asking to be both vindicated and reinstated in the FBI. And I will say,
I mean, I kind of knew that they were burning evidence, but like hearing it come out of like an FBI agent's mouth in a deposition or in like a court filing, it hits a lot, you know, it hits different.
if that happens, I mean, it could be quite the ordeal because many of the people named in the suit might be forced to testify. But then I'll say, shifting gears from that, there's also other news we should talk about today. Starting with that you had Republicans in the Senate voting to block a proposal from Senator Chuck Schumer to release the Epstein files. Right, and that because you had Schumer proposing an amendment to the annual defense policy bill that was being hashed out in Congress. What we ended up getting was the Senate voting 51 to 49 to table the measure, with only two Republicans, Josh Hawley and Rand Paul, voting alongside Democrats. And I'll say that, while ultimately it failed, it's still significant because it brought the Epstein battle to the Senate, which, unlike the House, has largely been able to avoid the fight. Though I will say, with that, you had Schumer making it clear to his Republican colleagues that they won't be able to get out of this so easily, saying, "If Republicans vote no, you'll be saying to the American people that they should not see the Epstein files. I ask my Republican colleagues, after all those years you spent calling for accountability, for transparency, for getting to the bottom of these awful crimes, why won't you vote yes?" But then also with this, we've got to talk about how things are heating up in the House, with Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna gaining steam with their bill to release the files. Because those two, you had them circulating a discharge petition, which was
They have, I think, 100 or 217 now currently, as of last time I looked it up.
would allow them to skirt around leadership and force a floor vote on the measure as long as they can collect enough signatures from a majority of House members. They've been able to get prominent Republicans to sign on, including Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And in fact, yesterday, the petition collected a 217th signature after swearing in a new Democratic representative who won a special election in Virginia. So now, Khanna and Massie, they're just one vote away to reach the 218 threshold. While of course they're hoping they can get another Republican to sign on, the final signature could also come in as more likely to come from a winner of a special election in the solidly blue district in Arizona, where a Democrat is expected to win. Also, I'll say, while we're on quick political news, we should talk about the very surprising news coming from the Supreme Court that ruled in favor of a trans student in a South Carolina bathroom ban case. Because the case there, it centers around a 14-year-old transgender boy who is challenging the state law that requires students to use bathrooms that align with their gender that they were assigned at birth. And you have the student saying that the law violates his constitutional rights under the Equal Protection Clause, and it goes against Title IX, which bans discrimination based on sex and education. What you had is last month, the Fourth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals temporarily ordered the student's school to let him use the boys' bathroom while his case played out in court, with then South Carolina filing an emergency appeal asking the Supreme Court justices to uphold the bathroom ban. But then what you saw is that a majority of justices rejected the application, letting the appeals court decision stand and allowing the student to use the bathroom that he wants at school while his case continues. Though with that, I'll say, and this is a big key thing, the ruling, it only applies to this one kid. And you, the court, making it clear that their decision was based on the state's failure to meet the standards for an emergency order, and adding that their denial, quote, is not a ruling on the merits of the legal issues presented. And then actually, with that, it's important to note that the Supreme Court might weigh in on similar issues very soon, because the justices have agreed to hear a major case during the term that starts next month that could decide whether trans girls can play on women's sports teams at school. But that, my friends, brings us to the end of today's show. Though I will say, if you're especially interested in like the international news that we often cover, just an hour ago put out a brand new
Ooh, buddy. Federal investigators search for Charlie Kirk's assassination suspect.
The FBI and Utah police postponing a news conference, citing, quote, rapid developments in our investigation, end quote. And now a source tells CNN that FBI Director Kash Patel is en route to Utah to assist the investigation. Hello, everyone. I'm Casey Hunt. Welcome to the arena.
He's been tweeting from DC. He's been tweeting from DC. Because he's been like tweeting like, oh yeah, we caught the guy. Oh no, we didn't catch the guy. And, oh God, I thought he was there.
Just hours after they released these photos of a person of interest connected to the case. The person seen wearing a hat, sunglasses, a long sleeve shirt. Let's be clear, the FBI says this is a person of interest. They've not yet identified them.
I was going to say, I think there's been an update. Hold on, let me go to the Google. News. Go to the Associated Press from 11 minutes ago. All right. This is from 6/26. FBI releases photos of. Wait. No. How do I? FBI released photos of a person of interest in the shooting of Charlie Kirk as investigators are appealing to the public for tips. The suspect is believed to have jumped off the roof and fled into a neighborhood after firing one shot and has not been identified, authorities said Thursday. Previously, they've announced that they recovered a high-powered rifle that may have been used in the deadly attack. Circumstances of the shooting drew attention in the escalating threat of political violence in the United States that, in the last several years, has cut across the ideological spectrum. The assassination drew bipartisan condemnation, but a national reckoning over ways to prevent political grievances from manifesting as deadly violence seems elusive. Here's what we know so far. Authorities in Utah are working to identify the shooter. A high-power bolt-action rifle was recovered from the area where the suspected Kirk shooter had fled. The FBI said Kirk's killer appeared to be of college age and blend in college population of the Utah campus where Kirk had drawn a crowd of thousands, officials said. Okay, here's the actual. All right, Utah Police Department of Public Safety released an update Thursday evening. Most of the information that has been released by officials earlier in the day. Officials said earlier they had recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle near the shooting scene. Law enforcement was investigating inscriptions on the ammunition, but the update did not provide details as investigators continue to work to identify the shooters and their motive. Officials say they are continuing search for any and all potential suspects related to the incident and are pursuing multiple leads. The agency asked the public to continue sending tips and adding no tip is small.
Charlie Kirk, a conservative.
These are the pictures. Oh. Stop clipping.
As a suspect. Earlier in the day,
I need to go get something to drink.
That they've recovered what they believe to be the murder weapon, a high-powered rifle alongside ammunition and a screwdriver in a wooded area near the crime scene. Sources tell CNN that the rifle and the ammunition were marked with phrases related to cultural issues. We are still working through what those phrases and cultural issues are, but authorities are analyzing them as they try to identify the suspect. The FBI is now offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to their arrest.
Any attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy. That is why we will relentlessly pursue this case and the shooter until we find him.
All right, our panel is here, but then we're going to get started with our CNN team. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez, national correspondent Nick Watt, who is on the campus of Utah Valley University. CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes is with us, and CNN's senior law enforcement analyst, the former deputy director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, is here. And Kristen, I do want to start with you because any minute now, the vice president, J.D. Vance, set to land in Utah. We now know Kash Patel is also on his way there. What else are you hearing from this administration as they grapple with the death of a close friend and, of course, a key political ally?
Well, Casey, look, there's still a lot of grief, there's a lot of sadness, and there's also a lot of anger. But one thing to point out about what we're seeing with Vice President J.D. Vance, I mean, they are clearly treating Charlie Kirk like he's not just part of the administration, but that he was part of their actual families. Vice President J.D. Vance was supposed to be in New York on 9/11 to commemorate that. Instead, he flew to Utah while there is an investigation into a assassin who targeted a conservative activist, a friend of his, who is still on the loose, so not ideal security-wise, to meet with Kirk's family and then bring Kirk's body back to Arizona, where he is from, on Air Force Two. You obviously are seeing this enhancement from the FBI, bringing out the director to have him on the ground as well. They are treating this in every aspect as though Kirk was a member of their own family, and in some ways, when you talk to these administration officials and these Trump advisors, they feel like he was. They do feel this sense of loyalty to one another, a very small, tight-knit group of people who has been with Trump for so many years, and they believe that Kirk was part of that. So that's why you're seeing such a difficulty with this White House as they grapple with this. We just heard from Susie Wiles, the chief of staff. She did an interview with Scott Jennings on his radio show where she said she talked to all of them last night, all of the staffers, saying go home and hug your family and then speak louder, because that's what Charlie Kirk would have wanted. This is hitting them all very hard, and it's something that I'm talking to a number of these Trump advisors who say they're still processing it.
No, of course, incredibly difficult to grapple with on so many levels for them. Evan Perez, the news conference that was scheduled for this afternoon was postponed because of these, quote, rapid developments. What might that mean? What are your sources telling you about the investigation?
Well, we know right now that there's still no arrest, and so whatever rapid developments are, do not involve an arrest. And so the FBI is still grappling with really trying to get the public to provide tips. That's the reason why you've seen those new images. I think there was a debate behind the scenes because, investigators tend to want to keep these details to themselves while they work the investigative details, the evidence that they have at hand. But
I have homemade pickles. Spicy garlic. It's garlic, peppercorn, pickle, some kind of leafy substance. They're really good. I was trying to mimic the pickles at the Ren Fair.
But it might be an indication that they really have run out of those, and so they need the public to provide more tips, and so that's where we're at. The biggest piece of evidence right now so far is really the firearm that has been recovered. We talked a little bit about, and you mentioned those markings, those etchings that were on the firearm, and I should note that those were from initial reports from the field that some analysts have been interpreting what they mean. Until there's an arrest, we don't know exactly what those mean, and so that's part of the reason why I think investigators are hesitant about drawing any conclusions about this, Casey. And at this point, again, because time is of the essence, they need to find a way to find this person before they perhaps carry out another shooting. I mean, that's the other possibility here that investigators have to keep in mind, that this person was doing this and may have other possible targets in mind. And so that is also a top concern for investigators. But the reason, the fact that you have Kash Patel going to the scene, Dan Bongino, I'm told, is also headed there. He's the deputy director of the FBI. What it tells you is that this is a high priority for the FBI, for this administration, and it's for those reasons that Kristen just laid out there just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, no, of course. And let's bring in, on that note, Nick Watt. You're on the ground in Utah. What are you seeing? What are you hearing from a community that is, of course, mourning, but also concerned about some of the things that Evan was just laying out? There's a gunman on the loose.
Well, local officials were quick to reassure people here to say this was a targeted killing. They don't believe that the public is at risk. Now, listen, before Charlie Kirk came here, this campus was divided. A lot of people didn't want him to come. There was a petition trying to stop him coming. Now, this campus, although it's not in session, these students are kind of united in their condemnation of violence. You know, it's been an interesting morning. It's now, by the way, 24 hours plus since the shooting. First thing this morning, we were told there were some key developments overnight. We were told that they had this good video of the suspect, that they were using technology, and they were very confident that they were going to extract an identification, an ID from that video. A couple of hours later, they clearly hadn't managed to do that, and that's when they released these images. Then we had this press conference that was supposed to happen about an hour ago, postponed because of rapid developments, then the $100,000 reward. Meantime, there are local officers as well as federal agents combing the area to the north, to the other side of this campus, which is where officials say this suspect fled. They are going door to door asking for ring camera video. They are trying to piece together his movements. And as the FBI special agent said this morning, you know, we don't know how far he's gone. And remember, it's been 24 hours. So, you know, we were inside the campus building earlier, and it was interesting to see some of the after.
According to CNN, 13 minutes ago. Oh, good. You guys can see it. Charlie Kirk killed by a single supersonic bullet, audio forensic expert says. Audio captured near the podium where Charlie Kirk was speaking yesterday afternoon suggests that the conservative activist was hit with a single supersonic gunshot, according to the audio forensic expert Rob Mayer. Supersonic rounds are fired from a Supersonic rounds are fired from high-powered weapons. This finding rules out the possibility that a small handgun or similar weapon, which fires rounds below the speed of sound, was used in the attack. Mayer says that the signature crack and pop pattern can be heard in the audio recording, suggesting that the single shot was fired from a rifle. Audio forensics alone cannot confirm the weapon's model or variant. Have they been able to get the bullet? Probably not. I wonder if they found it at all on the campus. There is definitely an exit wound. Mayer's analysts found the time between the ballistic shockwave crack and the muzzle blast successful pop was approximately 240 milliseconds. That's a good ear. With that time interval and an inferred bullet speed of 800 kilometers per second, the firearm would have been located around 253 meters from Kirk's podium. This finding aligns with CNN's analysis based on visual evidence that the shooter took aim at Kirk from roughly 150 yards away. Conservatives say they won't be silenced or intimidated. Oh, I dropped the pickle! It landed in my lap, but still. Conservatives say they won't be silenced or intimidated. All right, I have to clean up pickle juice. Conservatives say they won't be silenced or intimidated by Kirk's killing. Doug Deason, a Republican donor in Dallas, awoke Thursday to a long chain of texts from fellow contributors to Turning Point USA, the conservative organization Kirk led. One person in the thread announced plans to double their contributions to the group and asked the others if they were ready to help build up the organization. Every one of us said, yes, I'm in. no, I dropped it. Okay. Every one of us said yes, I'm in. In the hours since Kirk's death Wednesday, after the shooting at the campus event, his allies have vowed to channel their grief and anger into developing a new, younger generation of conservative politicians. Fellow conservatives have said they won't be silenced or intimidated by Kirk's murder, part of a growing wave of political violence, including assassination attempts on Donald Trump and other attacks on figures in both political parties. They have argued the best way to honor Kirk's memory is to finish the work. Thiessen, who serves on Turning Point USA's advisory council and introduced Kirk to then candidate Trump in 2016 fundraiser, said there's no question that the organization will carry on his mission. I believe in the cause. I believe in what he was doing. That we've got to go into campuses, got to override these radical professors. Frankly, the media teaches the element of free speech, so the media teach the element of free, so we can have dialogues and debate without violence. Everything we know already.
Aftermath of the reaction. Of course, people are conditioned when they hear a gunshot to believe that there are going to be more. I was walking through inside the building and you could see a banana peel, a half-empty bag of chips, people who had just left their stuff and run. There were chairs knocked over. You could see the aftermath of that panic. Meantime, as you say, there is your thoughts for the family, who we are now told Charlie Kirk's wife and children were actually here. There is a small memorial, and as you say, Charlie Kirk's body will be taken from here in Utah to Arizona later. So shock, and as I say, a community that was divided over whether Kirk should come, now pretty much united in the belief that he should not have been killed. Back to you.
Nick, can I also ask you about this spot shadow video of someone on the roof from yesterday? What do we know about that?
Yeah. Well, nothing further. I mean, you can see it was shot from inside the building right after the shot was fired, and you see this dark figure running across the roof. Now, that roof, we saw police tape up there later. We believe that that is the position from which the shooter loosed off that one round that killed Charlie Kirk. About 150 yards, clear line of sight across one other roof. Then local officials tell us they believe that this gunman turned, ran, jumped down from the roof, and as I say, fled through the neighborhood.
He took advantage of the ensuing chaos that would have unfolded to increase the distance between him and his and the crime.
North. That is where they found this weapon. That is where they are concentrating all of their investigations right now. Multiple different locations. We've been told that they basically, the crime scenes are dependent on where the victim and the suspect traveled. And they have managed to put together a bit of a timeline. You know, they now say that the suspect arrived just off campus 11:52. The Charlie Kirk event started at 12. This is all local time. 12:20 is when that round was fired. And, you know, you can see from the image, as we were told this morning, that this suspect is college age and, as we were told, could easily have blended in with the 3,000 or so people who were here on this campus to listen to Charlie Kirk and to debate with Charlie Kirk. So that is the focus right now, this photo and anything that they can find in that neighborhood over there. But listen, as I say, the FBI, the last we heard from them, they said, we don't know how far he's gone. 24 hours plus now.
Lots of process.
Authorities saying today they've been able to track the movements of the suspected shooter.
Oh, shoot, no.
Authorities saying today they've been able to track the movements of the suspected shooter on campus through the stairwells and up to a roof, where investigators say they believe the shot came from.
After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Authorities recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle from a wooded area, which they say may have been the gun used in the shooting, and they say they have good footage of the suspect.
That individual appears to be of college age.
Investigators saying today they're doing a lot of forensic work on that rifle, searching for DNA or fingerprints and trying to track down the owner of that weapon.
Somebody's doing construction on a house. House is over, which is fine. They're entitled to it. But it's very distracting. It's not their fault. It's my own. This was the other story. This right here was the other story today from Philly. Franco, we heard.
On a day when the government agency most completely in the news is the FBI, we want to bring you this important story. 3 longtime, decorated, highly respected former FBI employees have filed a lawsuit against the FBI and Justice Department and their current leaders, including FBI Director Kash Patel. That lawsuit alleges that Patel knowingly broke the law when he fired senior FBI executives at the behest of the Trump White House. The 69-page complaint says that the plaintiffs were the target of, quote, politically motivated retribution and are seeking to, quote, vindicate their constitutional and legal rights. One of the plaintiffs is Brian Driscoll. He is a career FBI employee. Donald Trump appointed him to the role of acting FBI director at the start of his second term, while Kash Patel was awaiting Senate confirmation. Driscoll was fired by Donald Trump on August 7th, reportedly for refusing to fire agents who'd been assigned to the investigations into the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. The plaintiffs are described in the lawsuit like this, quote, Brian J. Driscoll Jr., Stephen J. Jensen, and Spencer L. Evans served this country with distinction and courage as special agents and senior officials at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Over the course of their remarkable careers, they prevented terrorist attacks. They rescued American hostages. They saved children from predators, and they disabled violent street gangs. That is who they are. According to the lawsuit, the incoming FBI director, Kash Patel, quote, stated that his own job depended on the removal of the agents who worked on the cases against the president, regardless of whether the agents chose to work on those cases or not. The suit argues that Kash Patel's actions are a violation of the federal law and of the United States Constitution, saying this, quote, Patel not only acted unlawfully, but deliberately chose to prioritize politicizing the FBI over protecting the American people. His decision to do so degraded the country's national security by firing 3 of the...
Candace Owens tweeted 9 hours ago, who called the hit on Charlie? We need answers. I think she thinks it's professional too.
The FBI's most experienced operational leaders, each of them experts in preventing terrorist attacks and reducing violent crimes. Joining our coverage, MSNBC senior investigative correspondent Carol Leonnig. Carol Leonnig, that's the first time I've had the pleasure of introducing you that way. Let me first say welcome and thank you for saying yes. And let me ask you about this really serious reporting you have on what is the most serious kind of story we cover around here, and that is a lawsuit alleging a political purge atop the FBI.
Well, Nicole, first off, thank you for the warm welcome, which I've received so many places, and thank you for the energy and emphasis you put on this subject and have, whether it's when I was a Washington Post reporter or now that I'm a member of your team. This is, to me, a pretty stunning, striking legal complaint. 69
There's
pages,
so much
as you
breaking news happening on Twitter right now. Apparently there's like a shooting going on at the Naval Academy. There was a shooting going on at, I think, Boston University. This is absolutely insane. Got, you know, Trump's face, making the news because, okay, I'm not gonna lie, this straight up looks like my grandmother. She used to like clench her jaw though and like kind of chew it a little. It's nussy. But he does. I mean, I know his head's like tilted a little. Like he's kind of like leaning a little the one way, it looks like. But like, even his ears look like they hang different. Ugh. Okay. No one know. This is from 5 hours ago. I don't think that's correct. Nor all the hotties in my feed. Brazil's former president, Bolsonaro, has been sentenced to 27 years and 3 months in prisons for charges relating to his attempted. Suspect is a German man between 95 and 110 years old. Wait, this is the type of gun covered by the ATF and imported Mauser, 3006 bolt action. It has about 4 rounds in it. One was fired. That is. I am slowly scrolling. I don't know how much you guys can see, but 77% of Republicans believe it's always unacceptable to feel joy at the death of someone they oppose. Only 38 Democrats share this. Wait. Wait. Only 38% of Democrats. Oh, okay. From YouGov, guys. Remember, if you want to see the YouGov polls reflect how you feel, go make an account and do some polls, because all they do is just send you emails and you click the link and you answer a few questions, and that's the sample. So if you want to see that, oh my god. Mass shooting reported at UMass Boston.
40 Morrissey Boulevard. During this unfolding situation at UMass Boston, you can see people now clearly appear to be evacuating this dorm building. It is 240 Morrissey Boulevard. It's the Motley dorm building. And UMass Boston just issued an alert for a public threat. And so to avoid that area, I'm just being told here in the newsroom. So we saw kind of what began as a small police presence that then rapidly expanded. We saw what appeared to be a couple of dozen officers running toward this Motley dorm building.
Wait, this is a different picture. Gun recovered in Charlie Kirk's assassination model reveal. Hold on, I can't follow anything anymore. Let's go to the Washington Post. Back up. I'm backing. I have like, I don't want to search Charlie Kirk because I know the video will come up. But I would just like to see WAPO's reporting on shit. Or the New York Post, sorry. This was posted at 11 a.m. Assassins revealed an ammo. Oh my god. Yeah, this has been like a 30.06, a 30 in all black. I was pretty close. I'm not gonna lie. That may be one of the most common rifles in the country. It's old as dirt too. Yeah, look at the shape on it, and it's got matte black paint. But also it for anti-trans, anti-fascist messages is incorrect. Yeah, we now know that is incorrect, and they still haven't updated the story. New York Post is right leaning. Oh. Everything's just fanning the flames. I mean, the exact gun model has been in family for decades and decades. But I'll believe it when it's in the court. Yeah. I don't want to confirm anything until like it's been like official, you know? Like until I see pictures with my own eyes and I can clearly tell they're not MS painted. Oh. See? This is what happens when you freeze scroll. I gotta stop. You freeze scroll Twitter, you might accidentally see a man get shot in the neck. And it's still not labeled as sensitive content. And that's where I'm getting frustrated. It's like, why is this not like listed properly? Clicking into phishing. Ugh. Alright, we're starting bingo early. I'm getting frustrated. And we don't have any more updates. I'll be keeping tabs on it on my phone because I don't want to free scroll Twitter. Bingo. Words. Oh, shoot. Okay. Nope, that's the same one. Okay. So, this is Iron Chef Bingo. How you play. Oh, good. It's almost like perfectly fitting there. How you play is get your bingo board, which the link is at the top of the chat. Okay. Link is at the top of the chat. You click it. Get to your bingo board. Yours shouldn't have X's over it like mine does. But I'm going to hit reset. The free space is the words today's secret ingredient is when you see the word beef, pork, fish, fruit, veggie, or shellfish, those are for what the main ingredient theme is. We have our various Iron Chefs in here whose names I copy and pasted from Wikipedia, so please don't judge me. Who wins, if the ice cream machine will be used, if dishes get strapped, etc., etc. I think Blue has won a game, and Daisy's won a game so far. Yeah. So that's how we're gonna do this. Oh, we have to skip 5 minutes. I don't want to watch the entirety open, and it's 5 minutes long.
5 years ago, a man's family.
Oh, jeez.
昨今のワインブームを作り上げた男がついにここにやってまいりました。今夜は私のワインコレクションもかなり揃ったつもりです。さあ皆さん、大きな拍手でお迎えください。世界ナンバーワンソムリエ田崎真也。
Yes, walking the red carpet into the stadium is a champion sommelier. And Tasaki is dressed for the part in formal attire as he confidently, deliberately strides. Others in his profession watch from above. His discriminating taste buds have conquered the world of wine, but what fare can he create here?
どうも、ようこそいらっしゃいました。もちろんワインに関してはもう全てご存知だと思うんですが。
Yes.
今日は料理なんですけれどもいかがなんですか。
At one time, I wanted to be a chef. I love to cook and eat. Yes. Yes.
今日は鉄人と戦うんですけれども、少し舐めてらっしゃるとかそういうことはございません。
Oh, no. Not at all. But I would like to enjoy this as much as possible.
どうぞ頑張ってください。それではイタリアワインに関しては詳しいうちの鉄人を登場させましょう。一人だけ蘇るアイアンシェフ。
Alright. Neighboring horse ready, who's he gonna pick? Oh.
Making a solo ascent into Kitchen Stadium is
Oh, I guess he doesn't get to pick. Okay. Well, it's the Italian chef today. Sergio Kobe? I'm gonna say, I think I said that wrong.
Iron Chef Italian Masahiko Kobe, who's risen to heights himself in Italian cuisine. Trained at Enoteca Pinchioti, one of Italy's top restaurants, Kobe leads the way for Italian cuisine in Japan. Today, he takes on the challenge of a world-class sommelier in a match he just can't afford to lose.
板前になりながら2ヶ月で逃げ出したという今日の挑戦者。そこで和食にはおなじみピノノワールのような美しい赤身を用意してみました。どんなワインと合わせるか非常に楽しみです。それでは発表します。今日のテーマはこれです。
Beef. No. Tuna. Go ahead and mark off fish.
The sommelier world champ of '95, armed with expertise in wine, going against Iron Chef Italian Kobe.
1995.
Toto, the fatty part of the tuna, the theme ingredient. And with Tasaki, even wine buffs should pick up a thing or two today, so let's get it on! All right, opening gong, and immediately, as usual, Iron Chef Kobe making a mad dash for the ingredient stand.
Good year.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.
Sections of tuna and trucking them back. Tasaki,
okay,
of course, a little slower than Kobe, still up there. The former sommelier world champ, he's got two pieces now, huge sections of Chu Toto.
Yeah, they are quite large.
And now he makes his way back to his side of the kitchen with the tuna. Go ahead, Ota.
I asked the challenger why he chose Chef Kobe as his opponent, and he said, I'm not a professional chef, so asking those seasoned veterans might seem a little cocky. I had to choose Kobe-san, who is the only one younger than myself, because I thought I would have a better chance of winning against him.
Okay, challenger's prerogative, part of the strategy. And Hattori, while Tasaki's famous as a sommelier, his cooking skills, well, no one really knows what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
He's already pulled out the
cool
wine.
Champagne, actually.
Oh, sorry.
I like the way they open it. Yeah, I think he's going to perform a saber service here.
Huh?
Let's see if he does it. Here we go.
All right.
Okay. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Is that a common method?
Yeah, actually, they do that on festive occasions.
All right, very impressive, Tasaki.
Fukui-san.
Yes.
What Challenger Tasaki just did is called Saberaj. He says it's a ritual started in medieval Europe for soldiers going to war to pray for a win in battle.
Okay, well, I said he was armed with expertise. I didn't know he was armed literally. I'd say Tasaki is sufficiently ready for battle today. And so are we. And let's introduce our guests for today's battle. First, in keeping with the wine theme, an elegant lady dressed in a red wine color dress, actress Naomi Kawashima.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Kawashima-san, your wine diary is quite well known among the people in this field.
Yes.
Today's page will be a special one, I believe, right? What do you think?
Are we going to have wine with the dinner?
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh, I can hardly wait.
Okay, well, thanks
Maybe why they haven't been crowbarred yet. Yeah.
for being with us today.
Thank you.
And the dapper one, with all the wine he had to be here, actor Masumi Okada.
I keep a tuna diary myself.
I love that suit. I love it. Okay, he's returning. We got a returning celebrity guest. Somebody could almost have bingo by now.
So,
which part?
I love tuna.
I know you do, Okada-san. So, how would you want tuna prepared to go with wine? What kinds of recipes come to mind?
I'm expecting Tasaki-san to give me the answers. This is really exciting.
It sure is, and is always a pleasure.
Same here.
And our commentator, Dr. Yukio Hattori, also knowledgeable about wine.
Pleasure and a privilege is all.
I'm just watching this right now.
Fukui-san?
Yes.
I asked Iron Chef Kobe what it felt like accepting the challenge of a world-class sommelier. He said, don't forget I'm from Enoteca Pinchiori, known for their collection of fine Italian wine. There's no way I'm going to lose in this match.
The place in Italy where discerning gourmets find satisfaction. Kobe trained there.
So he'll be serving Italian wine then?
That's what I would assume. And some tough talk, too, from Kobe.
Fukui-san?
Yes.
Yeah, commenting on how he feels about being a gladiator in the kitchen stadium, the challenger says, I've got to show my regular customers that I can prepare excellent dishes myself. Okay. I sometimes get the feeling that some
wait, it's not 1995. He won. He was the sommelier 95 world champion. He's the best sommelier of 1995. This was not filmed in 1995. It was filmed in 1998.
believe I'm better at talking about the food than I am at making it. Today, I'm going to remove all doubts. Just you wait and see.
All right, we'll give him that.
Well, he's off to the right start there. He's got a great set of knives.
His own knife set?
Yeah, they're a brand of Henkel, top notch from Germany.
He really is armed. Do these guys usually carry around a set of knives?
Not as a rule.
All right. Now, Kawashima-san, which wines do you think go well with Chu Toro?
Well, even when I'm having Japanese food, I usually have red wine.
Red?
Yeah. Yes, Burgundy wine matches well. And for tuna steak, a Bordeaux wine should be okay, too.
All right.
Fukui-san?
Yes?
Just let me fill you in on the contents of this tray the challenger has. He just added a little water and salt to the champagne that he opened earlier with the saber ritual.
All right. Looks like something to marinate the tuna in.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Tuna is often dipped in a light soy sauce for marinade, but here...
Yeah, now that leads us to take a look at the Iron Chef now, and he's using Cinzano for the same purpose here.
Cinzano?
Yeah, that's right. He was just pouring that a minute ago.
An Italian approach, maybe?
Yeah, so one's using the champagne.
Go ahead.
As Hattori-san said, in the Iron Chef's tray, he has tuna marinated in Cinzano. And why is he using Cinzano instead of wine? He says because it's got herbs in it, which will take away a lot of the fishiness. Wine won't do that for you. For best cooking results, in this case, my choice, Cinzano, is the best.
All right, a war of words getting started.
And what is Tasaki-san using there? Roquefort cheese?
Fukui-san?
Yes.
This is Gorgonzola cheese.
Ah, Gorgonzola.
Oh, Gorgonzola.
Yeah, well, that has a fairly strong smell, actually.
And Fukui-san?
Go.
Sorry, hearing that the Iron Chef Kobe is marinating tuna in Cinzano, the challenger said, why is he so concerned with the smell? It's not unpleasant, and the aroma is part of the experience, and I don't understand trying to match something soaked in Cinzano with wine when it's being served. He's all mixed up.
Well, what do you say to that?
Interesting.
All right, the wine expert with his view and a rebuke to Kobe.
Okay, well, today for the tasting, he'll probably be doing the service himself.
So he'll be choosing the wine for us.
Yeah, for each
that.
dish, right.
Yes.
When I asked Challenger Tasaki how many dishes he was preparing today, he said, there are 5 tasters, right? So I've chosen 5 wines with 5 different personalities. I must have 5 items to go with each wine.
He's really thought this out.
Is that ham I see on the Iron Chef side?
And Fukui-san?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt again, but the Iron Chef is now rolling tuna into raw ham slices.
All right, a ham with tuna roll.
Yeah, well,
No,
actually,
no,
it's a
tuna with raw ham.
All right, well, okay, no matter how you slice it or bite it, it's
The colors are quite alike.
Chu Toro
so
wrapped with
good.
ham. Tasaki's commenting that the ham doesn't have much fat there.
Yeah, he'll probably fry this in a pan.
That's how it looks like Kobe will do it.
Yeah, but you know, this kind of ham is enjoyed best as is, really.
Okay, now on the challenger side, here we go, some soy sauce.
Yeah, soy
Fukusan.
sauce.
Yes.
This is a mix of two different broths, white wine and soy sauce broth, and kelp and dried tuna broth.
Okay, so now that's what it is. And I think he's got a white wine sauce going over there, too, on that side.
Fukusan.
Go.
Right now he has 4 different pots simmering.
A fully occupied stove in action from the challenger.
4 different sauces, maybe?
Okay. And 15 minutes gone. Tasaki, the wine sommelier, working on 4 sauces on the other side. The Iron Chef frying the rolls now.
Yeah, he's frying them in the pan there.
Okay, let me get it straight. Tuna rolled with ham, right?
There you go.
Okay. Yes.
I told the Iron Chef about the challenger's comments on serving wine to the tasters when serving this tuna dipped in Chinzano, and he said this show is Iron Chef, not Iron Sommelier. Using wine in all the dishes won't cut it here. He looked ticked.
2 men proud of what they believe in.
All right. Tasaki's already gotten under the Iron Chef's skin, and now this just added here by Tasaki. What was that?
Jam, I think? Some sort of berry jam?
Yeah, it is jam.
Blueberry.
Oh,
Blueberry.
Okay. You're kidding. Blueberry jam added to red wine?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Totally cook blueberry jam with wine. That would be excellent, especially for like a darker, more bodied red wine.
And this just added here by Tasaki. What was that?
Jam, I believe. Some
Like
sort of
a-
berry jam?
Yeah, it's jam.
Blueberry.
But a mulled wine. A mulled wine with blueberries in it.
Oh, okay, blueberry.
You're kidding. Blueberry jam added to red wine? Wow.
Fukusan.
Take it.
In this pot, as you have already observed, he has red wine and blueberry jam as well as cassis
Oh.
liqueur.
All right. Thanks for the up.
Got a narrator says what is happening before the commenter can say. A mulled wine? Yeah, that's the sluttiest wine. It's my favorite. Mulled wine, mead. Those are my jam. Or my jam.
Update. One of the 4 sauces being worked on by Tasaki.
Cassis, uh-huh.
Okay, could be a dessert.
Matches well with meat, too.
Yeah,
And
meat
look,
would be okay.
Here they've got apple jam on that
Apple
side.
jam in the white wine.
And puts it into on
that
a
makes
full power
sense.
boil, and that'll melt in a hurry.
It sounds good with white fish, but that's not what we have today, right?
Yeah, it's tuna on the block, so.
Okay, now on the Iron Chef's side.
The Iron Chef is wrapping something.
Okay.
It's-
Mozzarella.
Oh, wait, it's basil and mozzarella and something else.
Yes.
Here, the Iron Chef has sprinkled salt onto chunks of tuna and is now stuffing them with mozzarella cheese and beefsteak tomato leaves.
Beefsteak tomato leaves.
He has
I wonder what that is.
Tube. What is that?
Wasabi?
Okay, well, there was mozzarella and...
I see
Fukusan?
anchovies there.
Yes.
Returning to the tuna and ham rolls that the Iron Chef was working on a minute ago, he's now dipping them into balsamic vinegar, but not just any old ordinary balsamico. It's 25 years old, and that makes it $250 a bottle. Back to you.
Wow, $250 a
Hold
bottle
it.
for vinegar?
Balsamic vinegar that expensive?
Well,
It's
they're
unbelievable.
all kind of grades, actually. There's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and the prices of the old ones can be pretty high.
All right, and this is the stuff here on replay that we're talking about.
I've actually seen 100-year-old
Just
ones
like
as well.
whiskey, then.
Yeah, exactly.
You put garlic and tuna in it.
Yeah, right.
Right here on the Iron Chef side,
I
a block
treat it
of
like a
tuna,
steak.
huge, being fried. Slices of garlic surrounding it as the surface sizzles. Zoom in closer now. Doesn't that look good? Yes.
The Iron Chef told me that he's aiming for a refreshing sourness in his dishes today that'll match well with wine so as to neutralize the wine professional.
All right, well, he knows the score. He knows, too, the panel will have tasted 5 wines by the time his dishes are presented after challenger Tasaki's. Up in the royal box, a quintet of 5 Tokyo area sommeliers. To the far left is Kazumine Hirose, a sommelier from Azabu, winner of a California competition. Next to him, Hiroshi Ishida, sommelier at Hotel Nyotani, the 96 All-Japan champ. In the middle, Yoichi Sato from Restaurant Austral. And to his left, Hiroyuki Seno, also from the Hotel Nyotani. And the last man up there is Satoshi Yamamoto, who does his thing professionally in Ginza. All 5 top sommeliers in Japan, all experienced in world-class competitions, all looking on here for today's proceedings. Not looking on right now, the Iron Chef, steam and smoke in his eyes.
Really?
But it's the tuna from his pan? A fried block?
You know, just slicing this wouldn't be interesting enough. I'm thinking he's going to prepare a sauce for this or something.
Yes,
More action now on the Iron Chef side. Breading a cutlet?
Well, not exactly a cutlet. He was putting cheese and other things inside, so technically a cordon bleu, something like that.
The one with beefsteak tomato leaves in it.
Yeah, that and the
I love cordon bleu.
anchovies.
All right. Meantime, challenger Tasaki is, well, like a Japanese chef here, preparing tuna sashimi.
Now, this could be tuna slices for a rice bowl.
I was just going to say that, Doc.
Yeah,
But we didn't catch their rice cooker being put into action yet.
has rice.
All right, they have it cooking. Okay.
So this is a tekkadon then.
Squeeze on.
Tuna
Take it.
Yes, the challenger does have his rice cooker going. He switched it on right after the opening gong.
Okay, we were all absorbed in that saber action at the
And
beginning.
let me just add that, if I may, speaking of the pot, the one that looks like it has the red wine in it, the one here on your monitor now, this is actually white wine, soy sauce, and broth.
Okay, now back on the Iron Chef side, we're going to take a look at the tuna. The fried block is out of the pan.
like fried bean curd.
Looks like a Mediterranean dish, doesn't
Garlic
it?
on top, too. And what else?
Wonder what this
is. Breadcrumbs, right?
No.
Some sort of paste? Take it.
This is a mix of bacon and long onions, which he is sandwiching in with the garlic between the chutoro.
Okay.
Oh my
Interesting.
god.
I didn't see him start
I
that.
would
And he'll
do anything
re-grill,
to eat
keep it
that.
together, slap it down in the pan. What do you
Okay,
think?
now I think he's wrapping it with pasta.
What? No way.
No way.
Wrapped in pasta.
Oh my,
then
completely
is he
beyond my
gonna bake it?
imagination.
It's sort of like a salt crust grill in form. It'd be a pasta crust grill.
So the pasta will also be served?
Well, it'll be going into the oven, as you'll soon see here. I imagine
so
we'll
like
have to
a
go in
pie
soon.
crust.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right.
Goodness, wow.
And check it out now. He's going to wrap it in a
Squeeze on.
second sheet. Yes.
I asked the Iron Chef Italian about this pasta dish, and he said, I'm going to show you a different approach to pasta. I'm not boiling it this time, and you'll just have to wait and see how it turns out.
I am waiting.
Not boiled?
So the crust will be served then.
What'll this be like, Doc?
It could be great, you know, absorbing all the flavors of
It
the
could be
tuna.
great.
But boy, it's a
All
new one
right,
on me.
Kobe's showing some
Hey, the
innovations.
challenger's onto something.
Yes, back with
Egg
Tasaki.
yolks?
Squeeze on.
Something finely chopped. Go ahead.
This is salt-cured cucumber bits.
Cucumbers.
Pickles.
Salt cured. What do you think here?
Antipasto?
Pickles.
All right, yeah, that sounds about right.
Make 'em relish.
30 minutes gone now, halfway through.
He's poured champagne in
Yeah,
that, hasn't he?
champagne, right.
Onto the salt-cured cucumbers.
Today's challenger, a world-class sommelier, Shinya Tasaki, going toe-to-toe with Iron Chef Italian Masahiko Kobe, and now liberal splashes of hot oil in the frying pan, basting his pasta crust
Squeeze
here.
on?
Yes.
Yes, he is frying this in olive oil, and when I inquired what kind of wine he'll be serving with us, he confided that this dish will have a relatively thick flavor, so he said, I'm going to use a bold Italian red wine, perhaps one from 1990.
All right, Italian red, I would guess.
So that means he'll give us different wines for different dishes.
He's got to get with the program, too.
Okay, well, the Iron Chef is going to do that as well, I imagine.
And surely a first here, the Prince of Pasta, Kobe, using pasta to wrap around some fixings like this.
So I imagine he'll be slicing these into smaller portions.
We'll
then
just have to
before-
wait and
Squeeze on.
see. Yes.
The challenger, its dish will have a relatively thick flavor, so
He's got fried bread and oil warm enough to semi-fry the bread.
he said, I'm
And
going
then
to
he
use a
dumps
bold
it
Italian
out.
red wine, perhaps
He
one
doesn't
from
have a
1990.
glove on, I
All
don't
right,
think.
Italian red, I would guess.
So that means he'll give us different wines for different dishes.
He's got to get with the program,
Yeah.
too.
Okay, well, the Iron Chef is going to do that as well, I imagine.
And
Hold
surely a
it.
first here, the Prince of Pasta, Kobe, using pasta to wrap
use
around some
nothing.
fixings like this.
So I imagine he'll be slicing these into smaller portions.
We'll
then
just have to
before-
wait and
Squeeze on.
see. Yes.
The challenger is adding something to the rice that he prepared. It's a combination of white wine, apple jam, and salt that he had been simmering in one of his pots. And he let that cool off first and is now mixing that into the rice.
All right, the one with the white wine and apple jam.
That's
we saw
right.
it earlier.
So this could be a dessert, like rice pudding.
Oh,
maybe.
boy. Well, you know, he probably prepared it like a vinegared rice for sushi then.
Oh,
But then
sushi
he
rice,
added
maybe.
fruit, though.
Right, no vinegar either, Doc.
Squeeze on?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Beneath this screen, he's placed cherry wood and apple wood chips.
All right, obviously here, this is the...
Smoking,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yes, and the tuna on top are the slices that he had been soaking in champagne.
We're living it up today.
Okay.
Tuna soaked in champagne now being smoked. He may not be a pro, but technique-wise, he can bring it at you.
Absolutely. I can't begin to predict what he's doing.
All right, 20 minutes left now, and so far the challengers turning out to be a handful for the Iron Chef with all kinds of tuna dishes to go along with the wines he's selected for them. Go ahead, Ota.
Challenger Tasaki is now cooking lightly fried long onions and champignon mushrooms.
All right, looks great,
Looks wonderful.
Now, adding tuna to this would be like a new fashion negima dish.
Scallions and tuna?
I just love that dish.
And Doc, yours is a winner too.
The Iron Chef is using caviar.
Broken out the caviar? Yes.
Let me update you on what the Iron Chef is doing now. Besides caviar, this is the tuna that he had marinated in chinzano, which he minced and then added shallots, lemon juice, and caviar, and that's what you're saying.
Okay, so this will be a tartare steak.
Yes,
for
tartare.
sure.
Okay, now checking in on Tasaki, looks like tuna cubed there.
Into the pot with mushrooms and long onions.
Oh, okay, I see. He could be stewing this.
He's using chocolate, too.
That's chocolate.
What?
Squeeze-on?
Yes.
A quick check of the ingredients in the Challenger's pot here reveals that blocks of tuna sprinkled with flour, which he, of course, sautéed in olive oil. He then put those into this pot, which contains red wine, long onions, champignon, mushrooms, and chocolate.
So it's something like beef block stew.
Right,
And the chocolate's already melted in there.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Already.
Tuna and chocolate, wild. Some folks like tuna and chocolate milk, I know, but that's a pretty wild combo.
Croissant?
Yes.
Here in this bowl, the Challenger has the tuna, which was smoked and which he later minced, but so far nothing else.
So, smoked tuna?
Minced smoked tuna, and further action awaits at 10 minutes left now, and this is where Tasaki could come up against it. Iron Chef side, little tidbits onto the plates.
Cooking here? What is
Croissant?
this?
Yes.
You remember that he had tuna marinated in chinzano, which he minced and blended with shallots, lemon juice, and caviar?
Sure do.
He is now rolling that into como eggplant slices hot from the oven.
Ah, that's what it is.
Okay, this is melanzane in Italian.
Folded in eggplant. Iron Chef side, little tidbits onto the plates.
Okay, what's cooking here?
Croissant?
Yes.
You remember he had tuna marinated in chinzano, which he minced and blended with shallots, lemon juice, and caviar?
Sure do.
Well, he is now rolling that into como eggplant slices hot from the oven.
Ah, that's what it is.
Okay, melanzane in Italian.
Folded in eggplant.
And Croissant?
Yes.
I asked the Challenger about the use of the chocolate in that one dish, and he told me the bitter taste of the chocolate and the natural flavor of the red tuna match perfectly.
Well, that's what he says.
Well, sounds good to me.
All right.
And it looks like he's finishing up the rice here.
Yes, the rice.
Challenger Tasaki hunkered down over the rice dish.
Yeah, I'm saying this is a tekadon,
What's
tuna
that
on
green
rice.
on it?
Croissant?
Go.
The green garnishing on top is chopped, salt-cured Chinese cabbage, honeywort, myoga, and scallions.
All right, a pure Japanese method here.
This will all go really well with white wine.
You'd go with white?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, not certain about the flavor here, but in appearance,
Yeah.
Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it should match with the sushi rice.
Let's close in on Kobe's dish here. This is a rice one? Did he have rice too? Yes.
Spelt wheat.
I'm told that this is spelt wheat boiled in chicken broth.
Wheat.
never mind.
Spelt wheat.
Yes,
Okay, what's it like, Doc?
Well, the texture is really nice.
Crispy?
Not really, but it matches the Japanese palate, so it's quite nice.
The plate has a wheat pattern on it, doesn't it?
Yes, sure does.
Oh, he picked that deliberately, I'm sure.
And now around the wheat.
Oh, okay, I see.
The one wrapped with ham. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and sliced.
Out of the oven, down onto the plate, an out and down pattern.
Well, you know,
Probably do
the
a
texture
sauce
for this should
with
be
that.
quite interesting. Looks great.
Okay. 3 minutes left now, and Tasaki beginning to open his wine bottles.
Okay, here we go.
He's opening them with his own model of a wine opener. it
You're
looks
seeing a
like.
world champ at work opening a wine bottle here.
Look, he's so fast.
Yeah, that was in less than 10 seconds.
That
he did
fast?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now he's pouring wine into a decanter here, and by pouring it from a bottle, the purpose is to mix it with the air.
Okay, a little oxidation.
Yeah, to wake up the wine, so to speak.
Exactly. Sleeping Beauty wakes up with a yawn.
Nice imagery there, Kawashima-san.
And this is a Montius 92, I think. Yeah.
Where about is that, actually?
Well, in terms of province, I'd say southwest, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's about the area.
Okay.
Oh my god, he's taking
And
so much time to
Okada-san,
pour.
you're quite the connoisseur of fine wines.
All the sauce.
Well, I feel very lucky to be here today.
Okay, now here's the Iron Chef squeezing something out of the plastic
green,
bottle.
isn't it? It's green.
Olive oil, maybe?
Probably olive oil, yeah. He was squeezing lemon over it.
Okay, 1, 2,
Truffle?
3 dishes there that Iron Chef Kobe's prepared so far.
Well, he also has that pasta crust grill,
oh,
too.
yes, that's not finished yet.
Okay, but here it is. This is the one.
Oh, yeah, right. It's out. There it is.
This is
Less
the main
than a minute
course,
left
right?
now. It's got to be. And now Tasaki putting pen to paper here.
The menu, is it?
It's the menu and wine list. He's matching each item.
All right, today the true total battle. The challenger
Bro,
and
how do you
champion
have time to
sommelier
do
against the
this?
Iron Chef. What odds would you give for a sommelier topping an Iron Chef? He'd be a big underdog, but now this one looks close.
Wow, he's using French in the menu.
Sure is. He's been entertaining, provocative, and don't overlook that he's going to ply the panel with 5 wines matching his dishes and his image of our tasters. He continues to write his menu and the accompanying wines. He's certainly garnered some style points today. Will that be reflected in the final judgment? Who knows? And now his minced smoked tuna creation there. 15 seconds left. A bottle of bubbly to the side of that one. Kobe's worked up a sweat today. Been a while since he's been in a close one. He always produces to a high standard. Nothing will be handed to Tasaki. He'll have to earn it, but it's been a fantastic ride, and that's it. Pots, pans, and pens down. It's done. The tuna battle is over.
Right from the very beginning, you were calm, cool, and in control.
No, I just look so. I was very nervous.
Really?
I'm not used to being pressed on time. I've never prepared food racing with the clock. Yeah.
But having said that, how did everything turn out?
I tried to enjoy the battle in my way as much as possible, but I needed more time. No time to check the flavor of some of the dishes. So, well, I'm a little concerned about some of them. But, well, I'm happy I finished the 5 dishes.
And you'll be serving 5 different wines that match perfectly.
I chose the wines first, so it was very important to have 5 dishes.
Yeah, but if you didn't taste the product, how do you know if it's a good pair with the wine?
Just to go with them.
I see.
Yes.
How'd it go?
Tuna is not something I'm familiar with. Preparation, it wasn't tough. But it was tough thinking about what flavors I should combine. Yeah, especially because Tasaki-san's going to present his dishes in combination with fine wine. I had to keep that in mind. See, that part was very tough.
I see. And the result?
I think I did a good job on the dishes. I used Toscana cuisine recipes, some old, some new.
That match well with wines?
Yes.
And so what you're saying is?
Well, I don't know with the wine combined, yes.
How about without the wine?
For the food, I'm on top.
Challenger Tasaki is offering 5 dishes, each accompanied by a different
5 dishes.
wine. First, tuna tartare, marinated in the champagne opened by his saber. The tuna smoked with cherry and apple wood chips is a wonderful appetizer. He serves it with the sauce using Sendai miso and salt-cured cucumbers. The crystal champagne for Kawashima washes away the oily flavor of the tuna. Second, tuna on rice. He prepared sushi rice, not using vinegar, but white wine and apple jam. Salt-cured cabbage and other garnishes accentuate a profound experience. The Austrian wine, a little sweet, reflecting Kishi's personality, expands our perception of tuna. Third is tuna stewed in red wine, chocolate flavor. The bitter chocolate ties everything together, bringing harmony to the natural flavors of tuna.
It's going to be very nice with the red wine.
The spicy afterkick of Chateau Montius, just like Chairman Kaga, provides a nice platform for the dish. Grilled tuna is enjoyed with the sauce made from dried tuna broth, pu'er tea, and truffles. The encounter between matsutake mushrooms and fatty tuna is extraordinary. For this Japanese dish, the sommelier chooses a Spanish vintage from '68, evoking maturity, his image of Kurimoto. Last is tuna dessert, cassis flavor. Tasters might ask, where is the tuna, which is cleverly disguised in this pleasant dish, presenting a nice match between gorgonzola cheese and blueberry jam. The marriage with sweet cognac inspired by Okada is a perfect one. The Iron Chef has 4 dishes. First, tuna sandwiched in eggplant. He wrapped the tuna, dipped in chinzano, with grilled eggplant. The taste of grilled tuna of a crispy texture and sautéed veal are combined and enjoyed with the simple tuna sauce. For this dish, Kobe chose an Italian sparkling wine. Second, tuna gnocchi. The soup for the Iron Chef's second dish is made from strained tomatoes and red chili. The dish offers an understated yet stimulating platform for the truffles, matsutake mushrooms, and other ingredients. Ham rolls and cutlet soup. Looks simple, but a lot of work went into the items. The ham is rolled around tuna dipped in 25-year-old balsamic vinegar. The combination of the rolls with wheat salad using spelt wheat is something out of this world. The Iron Chef uses a soup made from fish broth with grilled tuna having been dipped into it and pours that over the cutlet. For this dish, he offers a white wine with a full body from Toscana. Last is tuna pasta grill. He stuffed tuna slices with garlic, long onions, and bacon, and then wrapped the combination with the pasta crust, encapsulating all the flavors into the
That looks like it belongs in a Studio Ghibli movie. Oh my god.
tuna. The garlic sauce, including boiled eggs, pickles, olives, and anchovies blended together, is splendid with this new approach to preparing pasta. The wine is Solare, which is served only at Italy's Enoteca Pinchiori.
I'm struggling to stay awake, y'all. I think we're gonna finish this and be
An
done.
expert in wine, today's challenger Shinya Tasaki, a world champion sommelier. But can he create artistic cuisine? He says yes, and chooses to test his skills against those of Iron Chef Italian Masahiko Kobe. Chairman Kaga unveils Chu Toro, the fatty part of the tuna, as the theme ingredient. Tasaki produces 5 dishes and selects 5 wines. The Iron Chef responds with 4 dishes, 3 wines. And now the moment of truth, tasting and judgment. On the panel today are Lower House members Shinichiro Kurimoto, actress Naomi Kawashima, actor Masumi Okada, and culinary critic Asako Kishi. First, the dishes and wines
Excellent.
of challenger Tasaki.
You need to catch up on your board. Good.
Recently, some guests are very specific about the wine they want, and they leave the choice of food to me, the sommelier. So we sommeliers need to brush up on culinary expertise as well.
The aperitif is Crystal Champagne, his choice for Kawashima.
Knowing Tasaki-san chose this just for me, it tastes extra good.
It looks like a Japanese dish using tuna, and, well, it kind of tastes like that in a way, but smoking it was the key. That elevated this dish.
If this was me, then who is the man represented by this dish? What kind of marriage is this? This is such a splendid mystery.
The reason I served this rice is that I'm going against an Italian chef. This is to counter his pasta dish.
Probably because of the wine, this tuna tastes very sweet.
Yeah, together they should.
Yes, it's a fruity tuna. I know that's a funny way to put it.
In the books you've written, you've been saying that red wine goes well with tuna, right? But you used white wine.
Yes.
It was very surprising.
This wine has a very good body or capacity to it, and it leaves a slight bitterness as aftertaste. This represents Kaga-san.
Oh,
I thought so.
If I wasn't told there was chocolate in this, I'd just say, hey, interesting flavor. The word chocolate is directly connected to sweets in our perception. So it's only the word that makes us feel funny. Taste-wise, this is quite splendid experience.
The wine it has a nice body. It's fruity, and I feel a nice, refreshing sourness on my tongue. That's what matches with the tuna.
Wait, but isn't the challenge tuna not pair the best wines? Isn't this Iron Chef not best sommelier? What is going on here? Why are we rating the wines with it?
なんて言いますか、その
Rigged.
甘さと渋さのバランスと言いますか、甘いところを渋さでキュッとこう締めると言いますか。
Oh, I see. This is your image, so you want some flamboyant words for this cut.
客観的にどう見られてるかっていうのは楽しみじゃないですか。
It's not the dish, it's the wine. This wine is Kaga-san, and the food is a woman that suits Kaga-san.
Okada is viewed as sweet cognac. How does that go down?
Great.
This is tuna? This is not tuna. But it can't be anything else.
It's like jelly, isn't it? Sort of.
Jelly cooked a little more like jam.
For people who love blue cheese just like myself, this is just wonderful. My tongue... How should I say this? It's like a cat's tongue touching my tongue.
Cat's tongue? A cat has a rough, coarse
They're
tongue,
so
right?
drunk. They are so drunk.
I don't find anything like that in this dish or the wine. But you could say it kind of teases you, like a cat.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. There's something that sticks in my mouth.
So you mean sticky?
Right,
Like
that's
Velcro.
it. The wine is soothing, and I think that,
So in that sense, this sweet cognac is somewhat sticky. So Okada-san, that means you're sort of sticky to women?
That's what sommeliers do best, don't they?
Oh, no, ma'am. Please. Please. Well, that's one way you could say it.
They're such smooth talkers, aren't they?
If it's Tasaki-san, I'll take smooth talking anytime.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh my god, I just
After
had-
all that, Iron Chef Kobe's dishes and wine.
Oh my god, just have relations already. Yeah. Just do it already.
Yes.
Now kiss.
I relied on my youth and momentum. I did my best.
The eggplant is good. The veal's good. And the tuna sauce is good, of course. But the tuna's not in the center of this stage. That's how I feel.
I've been very impressed with Tasaki-san's tuna dishes already. And to eat more tuna, well, I was looking for a change of pace. Among the many types of cuisine, I like Italian the best. It's like, yes, I'm home.
With this salad, you should become thirsty. Because of the flaky texture. So that's why I served it together with soup.
for me, it's the other way around. The soup is quite salty, so I thought you also had the salad to soften that.
This cutlet soup, except for the saltiness, it has great body. But the tuna inside the cutlet, if it had been perfected, I think that's what's missing, I guess.
Everybody else is saying it's too salty, but to me, this is just right. It matches very nicely with the Sauvignon Blanc. Maybe we are close age-wise.
And here's Kobe's pasta crust grill, what everyone's been waiting for.
You may not agree, but the pasta's the best part. It has absorbed the flavor of the tuna.
This tuna is great.
Tuna is, of course, a red meat fish, and it can't compete with snapper. But this tuna dish, which is a first for me, has turned tuna into a noble ingredient.
I know overcooking can make tuna very flaky, but he's prevented that from happening in this dish. I can see he knows a lot about his ingredients. For this, I think white wine is better than red wine. But the dish itself is, perfect.
8 wines later, the panel's
God,
in bliss,
they
but they
hated
still
him.
have to come up with a verdict.
ワインと合わせることでその料理の可能性を広げてくれた挑戦者3年前に世界一になったあの感動を再び得られるのかそれでは発表します
Today in Kitchen Stadium, we welcome the challenge brought forth by a world champion sommelier. Challenger Tasaki's cultivated taste buds have already been proven, but to taste and prepare, they're entirely different things. And on the latter score, the challenge.
Ooh, thanks for the resub. Sorry, Hobby's texting me. I might have some. I don't know. I don't really feel like.
Challenger's dishes combined with his wines have given Iron Chef Kobe a.
Anyway, thank you for the 8 months, Blue. It's been awesome having you here in this. Like, been a great addition to it. And if we have to end you. We have to put you in timeout. I noticed that my sub ran out, so I resubbed with Prime because I usually use my Prime sub here. I don't care how you subscribe. I just subscription. I don't even know what popped up. What popped up when you subscribed? Oh, was it the GIF? I've been working on
A run for his money. The Prince of Pasta's pride is on the line. Does he defend it? Who takes it? Whose cuisine reigns supreme?
Oh,
It's Tasaki! The challenger takes it! Yes! And he's as surprised as anybody. He's done it, an upset win. The sommelier topping the Iron Chef and Kobe gracious in defeat. If you'd have handicapped this one earlier, you'd have said no way to what we've just seen. Tasaki victorious in Kitchen Stadium. Okay, let's check the scores. Korimoto 19-17 the challenge.
So, oh my god, he got smoked. The Iron Chef got smoked. Look at that. 19-17, 19-18, 18-16, 17 to 19, or 17 to 19. Wow.
Challenger.
Hang on, I gotta see the board. Oh. Wait, this board or the scoreboard? I can barely keep my eyes open. I didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. last night. I fell asleep. Seeing the Carly Kirk video and like reading stuff. I was wired. Bingo board. All right, we've got narrator says what is happening before the commentator can say. Completes 4 dishes. Returning celebrity guest. Face fish. Eats 5 dishes. And Iron Chef Italian. Oh, and Challenger wins. I got it. Got bingo screenshots and I'll confirm if it's valid. Ugh. I meant I got the board down. Oh. Oh, did you get bingo though? I assumed the finally was because you got bingo. My bad. All right, everyone. I am debating streaming tomorrow. I want to see how much sleep I get tonight. So not yet. Oh, okay. Well, I'm stopping for the night. But I will potentially be back tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Discord. I want to see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Then I'm off Saturday, and then I'll be back Sunday. But until then, I will talk to you guys later. We'll keep yapping in the Discord, and I have been uploading the VODs over to YouTube. And I'll try to remember to wear a costume again in the next few days. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye!